Life after 2030. I confess my utter frustration in Carolinian terms when I say that I have, prior to the third and lucky time, twice gone down the rabbit hole in a request for suitable subject matter as a foundation for what the word might reasonably anticipate will be the characteristic of life after 2030. High-minded and philosophical themes reverberated in the thoughts of the eternal optimist within me. For example, the arc of the moral universe is long, but bends towards transparency, accountability, and fraternity. I sought inspiration by listening to a 73-minute recorded address at Michigan State University by Jamaican philosopher Charles Mills, of whom I had not been previously aware. I was in awe and researched further to understand his engagement with two white philosophers, Kant and Rawls. He alluded to the former as a racial liberal, quote, in the straightforward, old-fashioned racist sense. Kant says he would give respect to all persons while simultaneously declaring that Native Americans and blacks were natural slaves. Rawls, in Mill's view, is also a racial liberal, for he condemns racism while devising a theory of justice, but excluding the correction of historic injustices. He remarked that Rawls' priorities are akin to the white settler population because in Rawls' 5 books covering 2,000 pages, quote, Native Americans make no appearance whatever. I wish to read Black Rights, White Wrongs because I was curious, a Jamaican, to find out where his career was taking him and us. Imagine my utter devastation when I also discovered that my trusted source died of cancer only 2 weeks previously. I decided to change course and attempted a different tack into the fierce winds of social media. Headlines pregnant with possibilities led me down the second rabbit hole. Facebook, among others, was peddling a right-wing story about the Great Reset of 2030, the year of our literary focus. Some facets were inspirational and rational, others were scary and bizarre. A dish as fit for a weary writer as a blackbird pie before a king. Is the United Nations planning to institute a new world, one government, one currency order by 2030? The prospect of the democratization of currency worldwide appeared to be a model that would eventually bend towards a wholesome transparency and virtuous accountability. This is widely predicted within the adoption of Bitcoin, and that would have provided the seed from which the overarching oak would grow. But the idea of enforced population dictates and an autocratic world government, as it is alleged the UN document had proposed, left me fearful and depressed. But alas, like most fables, only parts of the story are founded in fact. The story as carried turned out to be a hoax. To verify the more gullible, I am therefore compelled to chart a different course. A spokesman for the UN Secretary General said, quote, no, this is false. The document they claim to refer to is not a genuine UN document. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development does not contain the falsehoods that have caused alarm, confirmed the Southern Property Law Center. Third time lucky, I hope. A newborn babe at the onset of World War II. I was in my infancy fascinated, unlike my younger brother who preferred trucks and tractors and fire brigades, by Santa's gift of a toy plane that took flight only in my imagination, although from time to time warplanes, bombers, zeppelins were spotted in the sky over Jamaica, one of England's Caribbean colonies. I persisted in my love of airplanes and my conviction that they helped to connect peoples all over the world. When the fanciful phase was long past, my foremost dream as an islander was airplane travel. Of all known inventions, the passenger airplane seemed to be best suited for fulfilling my natural desire to experience firsthand the diverse wonders of distant lands and peoples. The New World Order, in my philosophy, meant that people who have more information and experience about the planet would tend to behave in a brotherly manner, creating the opportunity for breaking down the barriers that divide nations. Bringing people together by increased modes of faster travel facilitates exchange of cultural peculiarities. It is the eradication of ignorance that offers the chance of reconciling prejudices. These considerations coursed through my mind as I snuggled into my compact leather seat aboard a Concord supersonic flight in the summer of 1996 at Heathrow. I had just concluded a secret intelligence conference at Scotland Yard in connection with Jamaica Export Corporation's collaborative offensive against narcotic smuggling, concealed in the legitimate cargo from the port of Kingston. My colleague and I were prepared to take off on this unprecedented Concord leg in order to arrive at Dulles for a dinner meeting with State Department operatives as part of the U.S. war on drugs, and to stem the proliferation of narcotics by dangerous drug cartels. Even for someone playing a lawyer's role, there was an element of danger. Within moments, and looking towards the cockpit, I observed the forward nose section of the aircraft swiveling upwards as the captain's Delphic voice from the flight deck boomed. "We're going to take you to the edge of space, where the sky sets darker, where you can see the curvature of the earth. We're going to travel across the Atlantic twice the speed of sound, faster than a rifle bullet, 23 miles every minute. We're going to travel so fast, we're moving faster than the earth rotates, and the world will be watching us." Up to that evening, I'd flown as far north as Canada, throughout the USA, and to countries in Central America as well as southerly to Ecuador on the equator, and to European capitals and to Athens, which incidentally was in classical Greek culture the location of the Oracle of Delphi, the narcotic derived from narcissus gas from the ground at Delphi put the priestess in a prescient trance. In the cabin, I adjusted myself to the anticipation of a flight time of 2 hours, 52 minutes, and 59 seconds. At Mach 1, 2, and then breaking the sound barrier to America.